Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Betsy Allen. I'm the Artistic Director of Ceramics and Expanded Media. Welcome to our summer faculty lecture series. I want to welcome our virtual participants that are watching tonight, as well as our Board of Trustees and National Council members. Thank you for your support. Tonight we'll be hearing from two faculty, Lina Puerta, who is teaching Beyond the Surface, Intuitive Approaches to Painting, and Sunkoo, who is teaching the symbolic and the figurative in ceramics. It is my honor to introduce them both tonight. But before we begin, let's all take a moment to silence our cell phones. Anderson Ranch acknowledges that our campus resides on the traditional ancestral territory of the Ute people, who called the Roaring Fork Valley and beyond home for over 800 years. Through our mission to promote a wide range of arts, cultures, and voices, we commit to partner with and honor the indigenous ancestors and residents of this sacred land where we learn, work, and create together. And now I will introduce Lina. Lina Puerta has received numerous awards, including the NIFA Fellowship in Crafts and Sculpture and the Joan Mitchell Painters and Sculptors Grant. Puerta has participated in artist residencies at institutions such as Art Omai, the Sugar Hill Children's Museum of Art and Storytelling, Dieu Doni, Smack Mellon, and the Joan Mitchell Arts Center. Her work has been exhibited at the Kleefeld Museum, New York Botanical Garden, Ford Foundation Gallery, El Museo del Barrio, and the Bronx Museum. Please join me in welcoming Lina.
Hello, good evening. Thank you for coming. Thank you for that introduction. This is my first time here, and I am very grateful, first to be in this amazing, beautiful place, but also to be in such a wonderful, to be sharing with such a wonderful community. So thank you so much for the invitation. I'm enjoying every minute of it. So just a little bit about me. I was born here in the US, but I grew up in Colombia, where my parents are from, and I am from also. And I came back as a young adult here to the States. And I started my art career in my mid-30s, so a little bit later. I did some teaching before that, so I've been working for about close to 23 years as working professionally. And I think I have always been really interested in materials, and I have worked with different mediums, but I find myself always being very curious and incorporating different materials with that medium. So I'm going to show just some overall kind of quickly some works from early on. This is from 2003. So the first series of works that I did back then was mainly ceramics. But I always, as I said, felt this need to incorporate different objects. In the beginning, I did a lot of work that explored the body and thinking of body's sexuality without taboos, and thinking of it more from a non-hypersexualized way. And from there, I'm kind of fast forwarding a lot, just to focus more on the more recent. This is a series of water fountains that I did in clay within suitcases. The first one I did in 2006, this is from 2010. And I started to move from the body that was first more feminine. I moved to thinking of the body as a vessel and thinking of the interior of a body like a landscape. So this is like guts that like an island that is like gut-like with like a muscle that is also a mountain, and thinking like of the magical, thinking of the body in non-scientific ways. From there, I expanded to doing installations that spread over a space. They adapt to different spaces, and all of my work is, it incorporates all different materials. All of these plants are artificial, and it's exploring the relationship between like the human and the urban, and the tension between it, but at the same time is like a reminder that we are nature. So I incorporate a lot of textures that relate to the body, and I'm interested in like body adornment materials, such as, and a lot of them that have to do with celebration and joy. So there's a lot of like fur and sequins and this other like flesh-like textures that I create in these works. This is an ongoing series that I call the Botanical series. And here are others with mosaic. And this is moving fast. This is 1215, where I started to use concrete with a, oh, this was supposed to do something else, sorry. Oh, okay. It was supposed to transition, didn't work. It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry? I can fix that right now. Give me just a moment. Okay. Oh. I see. Thank you. No problem. So so many of this work is I did at a place called Materials for the Arts, that is like a place that has all of these surplus materials that are available for free. Sorry. Oh, okay. Still jumping. But anyway, these are all reused materials. The only thing I purchased was the cement. Now it's kind of jumping, but it's okay. Okay, and this is another work. Is it going too fast now? Yes. Sorry, it was supposed to kind of transition differently, but yeah. So some works I used concrete to kind of bring them together, and of course many other materials. This work at the top, it has concrete, it has aluminum, all the materials are reused, found materials. This is a cuna mola that I found at this place, Materials for the Arts, and I've always loved these indigenous art forms. That this is from the cuna people of Panama and Colombia, and they are made into like blouses, this cuna mula. And this is a piece that I had done everything except this, the mola, and I was thinking to put a piece of fabric there. And I went through all my stack of fabrics and nothing worked. And then for some reason I went to this and I grabbed this mola and it like, it just went so perfectly with this piece. So I feel like this mola in some way, like, sort of like chose itself to be in this piece. Like I was making this work this whole time just for this mola. And I looked up what this piece means, and it's a shaman woman smoking a pipe and fanning the fire, which I love this powerful image, and I feel like it's a collaboration with this unknown artist. And these are others that are more painterly. I never considered myself a painter, but with materials I kind of brought me there. So this is a lot of concrete, polyurethane. And then I did a residency at a place called Dieudonné, which is a paper studio, and we did, it's like using paper as a medium, so here I embedded a lot of different materials into paper while it's wet. And so this is, I did work on paper like this. Sorry, this was supposed to transition differently. And I did a lot of these since 2015 until now, but I think I'm not sure of the timing, if I'm going too slow. So these are other paper works that have to do a lot with farming. And this is a quilt that is called Moth-er. It took like 5 months to complete just on my own, no help. And it was basically, it started with like the background fabric kind of, when I put 2 panels together, this image kind of came up and I decided to go with it. And this animal, like, it's like many animals in one, came up. And then from there, I did this series of embroideries that using the net of like an avocado bag that you got at the market. That bag was silk, digitally printed onto silk, and I used that as a grid to embed this symbol that is a symbol woven into different belts by the Inga Camenza indigenous people of Colombia. And this is an image, this is the symbol of corn. And I love that they use the entire plant rather than just the corn cob. And I'm trying to incorporate like different materials that also relate to like my European ancestry that I have through colonialism, because I am both indigenous and European, what they call mestizo. And this is more recent work, what I'm working on now. Sorry, it's cut off like this, but the base of it is a food sack. So I've been interested in like food justice and how we relate to food in our society compared to indigenous ways, because I find that the indigenous ways have a more holistic and more sustainable way to relating to the world in general. So here I am centering this bracelet that you can see half of it. Here I'm centering that bracelet that's made by the Embera indigenous women of the area of Colombia where I'm from. And I am trying to amplify this symbol, which is like, this is called the frog, la rana. And it's a symbol of a frog, but that is also a symbol of fertility of the land. So I'm using different materials, and this is my last slide where I'm also using necklaces here in the center by the Embera women, as well as some bracelets by the Nukak people of Colombia. And I'm incorporating all of these materials are, many of them are nets from food that I recycle, and others are fabrics that I source from this place that, Materials for the Arts that I told you about. And I incorporate beads and seeds, some beads that are recycled, some from necklaces that I worn before, like shells. And I also incorporate wajudo, which are these like red and black seeds or beans, and they were, all of my life I've seen them worn as bracelets, especially for babies, and they're supposed to protect against the evil eye. And they were found, in research, they've been found in funerary sites in Peru from pre-Inca times, and they have been used for that purpose as protection and as good omen. And so I just love that such a small thing has it has survived colonialism, and that continues to have that power. And that is all. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lina, for sharing your beautiful work. We will hear now from Sunkoo. Sunkoo is a professor at the University of Georgia, Athens. He earned his MFA at New York State College of Ceramics at Alfred. His work is informed by his personal and intimate experiences in everyday life. Ya's ceramic sculpture is composed of tight groupings of various forms, including plants, animals, fish, and human figures. While Korean art and religious beliefs inform some aspects of his imagery, his work is largely driven by implied narratives that often suggest socio-political critiques. Please join me in welcoming Sunkoo.
Good evening. Good to be back. It took 14 years to recovering from the high altitude sickness, and this time I have sleep disorder. Last 2 days I only sleep 3 hours. So if I not talking, wake me up. I came, here in the state when I was 28, and it was the teenage years. I was a wanderer. I didn't know what to do with my life, and somehow I decided to be an artist, but I didn't know what kind of medium I want to, go. Then also, I didn't know, what to make. So from the beginning of my career as an artist, always there's questions, two things, are you qualified for this, right? And always there's a question and examine myself, and I have to prove it, right? And I loved, clay. I found when I was at, college, but still I don't know, about the materials. So I always, try to find something. Oh my God, what's going on? It's going backward. Oops. No. Not this way. Oops. You watch everything in 2 minutes, right? Okay, thank you very much. So, that's questions, who am I? What I'm really making. I didn't know. So 4 years, and I started with, figured it out, who am I as an artist, as a human being. So I made a body of work, self-portrait. And this is what. When I'm looking back, still, trying to find some hope, maybe. So wings there. And it's very monochromic at the time, I was looking for ceramics works, like works made out of clay, earthy, right? And powerful. But still, I'm in a cage. I don't know what to do, I want to be free. I want to go somewhere. And some of work like this is very painful. It's about, to accumulate everything, so what I can do. So I fire from cone 10 to cone 6, 04. I can put everything, I can put it on, multiple firing, and still don't know. So I try to find something, some clue from my ancestors' heritage. It is, Joseon Dynasty pottery, which I really fond of it. And I was looking for something, why I'm liking this, right? And this work made about, 500 years ago, some 300 years ago. As a contemporary viewer myself, it looks like, made these days. So I thought about the longevity, and of art. All we looking for as an artist, we will die soon, but our works wants to be lived longer than that, right? And if there's any element or secret things I want to learn, and what makes that happens. And the other work is same dynasty, Yi dynasty, maybe 19th, 16th century between that fork painting. I haven't seen many this fork painting when I was in Korea, but I moved here. I found the books, published it in Japan, and I didn't know what that was, but my heart, when I turned page on and on, my heart started beating faster and faster. Then I can felt I have some commonly I can feel with this. So I study these images. Can I go back? Why it goes so fast? Am I sleepy still? A few things I found actually. Oops. Can I go back? Yes, so the back button is the bottom one. Okay. Okay. Technology is not my forte. So if you see this, there's something, few elements I found actually. So I kind of commonly share with as a Korean descendant, the humor definitely. And multi viewpoints, and also color. And that era of Yi dynasty was Confucianism is main philosophy. So Confucianist wants pure things. So ceramics, they love porcelain, white, but a lower class, people they loved, color. So I kind of have lower class, aesthetic, kind of quality. And as you see, this is a and so lots of symbolism there, right? As a human being, we have a desire, kind of fundamental desires, which is longevity, fertility, well-being, such a thing, good marriage, those are symbols, yin and yang, prosperity. So those, kind of elements I try to, I think, I got it, and then I try to apply it to my artwork. I found, Picasso. About, 20 years after, I start draw images, which is very spontaneous, intuitively I draw. So if I'm in a zone on a certain day, I'm on the mood, then I just standing in front of the paper without any planning. Then I start draw images with the ink and brush. And I don't know why I'm drawing some, of these images, but it's almost like I permitting all the images inside of me. And I put these images on the wall, and I study in and out, contemplating. And sometimes I choose, this image to make my sculpture, three-dimensional sculpture. Some of the image I understand why I made, or, clearly. For example, this is some missionary groups when, Arab war and Taliban capture, and they capitalized few of them. I mean, after that, news I heard, then I drew these things. So I know, but some of them I don't know why. But it's about my concerns of my relationships, and not all the images, I'm making, but certain images I choose. Sometimes one, sometimes more than one, and I make three-dimensional ceramic sculpture. As an artist, to support ourselves, and I have to be prolific. And this is the way I can make my work faster. Images, because, there. Then I still kind of, play, push the images and pull the images and create, three-dimensional sculpture. So this is one of the, sculpture, three-dimensional sculpture. For a long time, I thought I make, this three-dimensional sculpture, then viewers see from one side to, one directions based on their cultural background, ethnic background, and they read their own kind of narratives. So I thought, for a long time in my work, there's so many unknown kind of narratives kind of interwoven. And my jobs, somehow, I just create this images about my concerns, my relationship, then people can share somehow. This is one work. You see this side, the other side, and this is the other side. I use 40 different glazes. The reason I use color, as I mentioned, I love, monochromic, porcelain or ceramics, But the reason I use in color, I want to use, color before I focused on monochromic ceramics. It's been 30 years. I'm still looking up, right? And this is not my favorite path I'm going, but if I live a little longer, then sometimes I'm sick and tired of this color. Maybe I'll go back to my favorite, path. When you use, 40 different colors on the top of each other, one thing you have to do, let go your control, right? So that's the hard part. I think, every artist wants to be unique, speak their own kind of, vocabulary. And everybody, it looks like, refine their kind of skill. Then how can I be uniquer? And I decided to, one more elements in my work, which is uncontrollable aspects I put it in. So it's really difficult to uncontrol. I mean, you know, I've been using this glaze for 40 years, so I know which combination looks better, you know, which is better and how long I've had to fire. But, you know, once I start and I layer more than 1, 2, 3, 4, then I just, you know, time comes and just let go and I start spread, you know, and squeeze that bottle and, you know. What I'm looking for is I'm not controlling, but I'm looking for beyond my imaginations, right? It occasionally happens, and which is, you know, that's a wonderful things, you know. I'm not imagined, but beyond my imagination. But there's lots of accidents, right? Lots of fails. Ceramic is kind of limited material, right? So many things happening. You not expect it, but that happens. And even though you fire really high temperature, then you drop and shatter it. So you have to accept those, you know, disadvantages. Clay always, you know, appeals me as a three-dimensional medium. And this is a 2000, you know. I taught summer school at the Alfred University. And at the time, you know, back of my head, I had why I'm not making two-dimensional work. So I made a mural, 100 of mural tiles like that. So tried to make mural, but I was a total failure. I only have a 20. 80 of them is a cracks, you know, so. And I heard about, but, you know, still it's nice, you know, if you know, survive. Then I heard about the town make, you know, large scale tile in China, the city called Jinzhen. So I went there to make big tile. You don't have to make big tile, actually. You need a fat cash. And you just order it, right? You know, they bring it to you, the tile, and those, you know, big tiles. Then you draw. But originally, the Chinese, you know, they fire this first, and on the top of that, low temperature China paints. They do 3 months. It takes, you know, 3 months to finish this, you know, tile. Once you fire first the shiny surface, then you decorate it. And this is a tile they prepare, different size, very small kind of, you know, family. It's a family size, you know, 2, 3 people working for one. And I was there to draw this size, you know, 14 hours a day, nonstop, make one tile. And they bring it back and glaze it and fire for me. If cracks, I'm not paying it. Right, but if it successfully, you know, come, then with the fat cash, I pay. So I tried to make a mural, actually porcelain mural at the time. So 1 month I worked really, you know, hard, and I able to make 2, you know, set of this tile. So as you see. This size tile, there's a 40% loss, right? The big tile you first time see, only 10% survives. So you fire 10, 9 cracks, and 1 survived. But it still is amazing to me. Then these people knows how material works. Then they have a know-how. Then their industry, you know, and support, so they can make large scale work. In my studio has a kind of limitation too, so I'm trying to find some place to go and work. This is a museum in Korea, It's called, clay arch. So it's combined, clay and architectural ceramics. They have a residency, wonderful residency program. So I was there for 3 months and made work. It was great, after 25 years in the state, and I stayed there for 3 months and make work. I wish I wanted to make, new types of work, but when I was there, the memory, kind of ooze up, again, which I thought, I forget everything, then those memories come back, and I made works, long before about my relationships and people. I use maybe 6 tons of clay for 2 months, and they have a big kiln, so I have a chance to make large scale work. So I was happy. So after 2 months, this clay is not easy to fire right away, so I have to wait, then glaze and fire. It's always an exciting time. Open the kiln. I can't wait. The glazing is really sucks, but the result is sometimes exciting. The large scale works, always there. But, to me, I don't know why, but, as an artist, it's my mission. And, expand kind of expressional boundaries, So I keep doing it. And if I have a chance, I want to make a few more. So they gave me a good, solo show. Next year. So almost every, that workshop participants wants to make bigger. I can show that, how you can do that. So it was opening. And some of the small porcelain work. The mural I made in China. It's a beautiful dome, Pandemic makes me cup. Right, and shut down schools all by myself in my studio, so I cannot make big, heavy things. So I just start make cups. I really appreciate. Then every day I'm using it. Always, that my art have some reason, objective, purpose. But I made this called story stone, just empty, hollow, shape, and draw images, and you can play. My favorite things. I still, coward to drop up all the colors yet, but some days I wish. After 40 years, these things happen. Two years ago, I had a workshop in Indiana University. I worked really hard.
No, who said this thing? Oh my God.
So these things happen all the time, okay? Don't be discouraged if these things happen. But, workshop participants work so hard. We're just doing 2 days. But there's lots of progress. I'm very impressed, and I'm very proud of it, okay? We still have to go. A few more days, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunkoo, so much for sharing that. We're going to have the speakers sit up front, and we'll open up for a Q&A. If you have a question, please raise your hand and wait for me to bring the mic.
If you guys don't mind sharing this microphone, also I'll turn the mic.
Hi, I loved both of your presentations. I'm way in the back. I loved hearing about both of your processes, and I enjoyed all the color that both of you bring to your artwork. I have a question, 2 separate ones, one for each of you. Lina, it seems like materials are very important to your process. You talk about how a lot of your materials are found or repurposed materials. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit more about that, and if in your work you bring materials from Colombia and America and kind of incorporate that different aspect, or I'm curious about your use of materials, if you could speak about that a little bit more.
Thanks for the question. Yes, I basically collect a lot of materials, and I basically collect materials that I'm drawn to, materials that that I love, and I also, I don't know, I just every day, we are surrounded by materials, and sometimes something really like catches my attention, and I try to, just either pick it up or see how I can, especially materials that are going to waste. I see the possibilities in them. And then I also hold on to materials that have, I guess, sentimental value. Many materials that I have worn myself, like belts, necklaces. I have T-shirts that I have kind of deconstructed and worked into a piece. And like in the quilt that I call Mother, there's some pieces, there's a crochet flower in the middle that my mother crocheted, and I've had for, my mom passed 15 years ago, so it's something that I have held on to. And different things like that. There are some works that, and I think I've talked about this in the class, there are some materials that I have held on to for like 30 years, and I can never get rid of them because I really love them. But then I also have materials in the studio that I no longer love. So I have to go through my studio like every few years and get rid of things that I no longer like as much. So that is something that I have to do so I can one, like know what I have, and to make room. But anyway, that was a long answer. But
No, thank you for sharing.
Sure.
And then my question for Sunkoo, I am so enthralled by the scale of your work. It seems like so much fun in the pieces that you make. I'm curious if you could talk more about the themes or motifs in the subject matter of your sculptures. If the people that you sculpt are people that you know, or what inspires kind of the narrative of your pieces.
I think, I just, made, based on my intuitive, drawings. And in that drawings, lots of guardians there. And my life was not secure. So in, the tigers and dragons and the guardians there. And sometimes I see myself there, myself as a sinner, myself as a demon. Right, and I create, some images, through the years, like a bird, shows up blood, and I think, that's a mischief, the things around all the time, and I'm using some, different cultures, symbols too. Right? So, for example, the good symbols for marriage is a duck. And the fish is Christianity, but some culture, that fish is, the fertility, sign or symbols, So I think, the images I make depends on who you are, how you see, those differently, right? And I don't think, there's no specific themes. But, as a human, we kind of commonly, share. As I said before, in my work, there's, unknown stories. But I think, through the years, that's not true either. And, it seems like I'm trying to convey some of the emotional quality. And sometimes, I feel like you go to a movie, then you see the movie. Then when you're coming out from the movie, then you have certain kind of emotion. Oh, this is a very sad movie, right? And in my work, that kind of emotional qualities, kind of hide somewhere. So if we have a kind of same cycle, and then you can feel that, you can see that maybe, and some work, I'm always thinking about what is a good art, right? And good art makes you think, through the times, maybe. I talk about the longevity of arts, right? But a few hundred years, still that's a good work, right? And that's probably I'm really thinking about it. So my works, there are some hidden kind of things. It's kind of good things, bleaching slowly so people can see, but when they revisit and they find something, they can think. And more important, more high quality, maybe you can feel something, right? From visual art. We easily, feel something because of performance, like singers and dancing. We can easily feel, share our emotions. But as a visual art, I don't know how many, visual arts you see, you feel something. I think it's a very high, quality, good art. That's what. So my ultimate, goal maybe. If I can do it or not, I don't know, but I want to make some work. You can feel something.
Thank
I don't
you.
know.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, thanks.
This is a question actually that comes from our virtual audience. For Lina, what advice would you give to emerging artists navigating the balance between craft, content, and cultural critique?
We just answered. I think, things have changes, right? I thought about this, for maybe 20, 30 years, a contemporary, artist, as a contemporary artist. I mean, especially, someone who working with the clay, crafts, was a burden for long times, right? And things change it. As a contemporary artist, you have to do many things, right? And think about it, used to we have galleries for painters, galleries for sculpture, gallery for ceramic artists. But these days, there's no boundaries, right? And one gallery represents everybody, right? The same way, as a contemporary artist, you have to do multiple things, whatever your talents, you know. You have to draw, you perform, pre-making, ceramics, right? The mediums doesn't really matter these days. I think, you know, that's what young artists maybe have to do. That's what I feel. Want to say something?
Could you repeat the question?
Sure.
Sorry, thank you.
What advice would you give to emerging artists navigating the balance between craft, content, and cultural critique?
I think you have to kind of be true to yourself and what comes, what is like, do the most honest work. Work in the medium that you feel you have, you can voice, you can express yourself the best. I think that's, for me, what will make you happier. That's all.
Yeah, no, thank you. There's a question here. Hang on.
Hi. When I first saw both of your works, I didn't think they had that much in common. But hearing you talk about them, I realized that, you know, both sort of color and working intuitively are something that you both do. I wonder if you could, and Lina, we've talked about intuition in class, but I wonder if you could talk a little more about it, each of you. So your use of color, which you did reference, and then also working intuitively.
I think, you know, it depends on, you know, who you are, right? You know, I'm the one. I try to figure out who am I, you know, what is the best way I work. And even though, you know, I don't use my drawings, the intuitive drawings, and when I make my work, you know, I never had a sketch, right? I just started. And I make things, and there's a, you know, decision making constantly, right? So kind of, I work intuitively. I mean, I make something, especially, you know, if I make some face, then with the clay. Clay is a material you can manipulate, and you push it and it reacts, right? Then I don't know what I'm looking for, but I just, you know, play, then I see something, right? Then I can probably, you know, freeze that, you know, kind of, you know, images, something like that. So I will always work that way. So later, you know, I figured it out, which my drawings very intuitively and spontaneously I draw, but that's inside of my images. Then I can transport that to 2D to 3D, right? But until I finish it, I don't know what kind of work I have, you know, but that's me. You know, I find out, you know, my kind of mechanism as an artist, right? How my work, you know, kind of produce. It takes 20 years to understand, but everybody has a different kind of, you know, mechanism, I think, as an artist, right? Some people have to understand plan A to Z, right? And follow that, you know. But, you know, my case, my mechanism is, you know, like that. So I just followed that.
Yeah, for me it's similar. The classes that I'm doing here is exploring that intuition also in materials. So for me, intuition is very important part of my practice, and I think it's important to talk about it or mention it because for a very long time, especially in the academia, it was complete taboo. It was very frowned upon to speak of intuition. It was like you weren't intelligent. And I have read and learned also from, I mean, intuition has always been part of it. It's just that I couldn't, I would find ways to, I would call it like, I don't know, different words, but yeah, I couldn't talk about intuition, but I have learned from different indigenous cultures that intuition is something highly regarded. It's like a high form of intelligence. So I like to honor it that way. And I think with time, I have, when I'm in the middle of the work or when I'm trying to explore or, as you said, like play and experiment with the medium to see what happens, and you're kind of having a conversation with it. Sometimes it's hard too. Like it's, I have times when I'm very doubtful, have a lot of doubts, very doubtful of what I'm doing, but I have to kind of keep going and just kind of trust the process. So that is something that I have learned with time to really trust. And in terms of the use of color, that also is very intuitive for me. I like using a lot of colors. I have tried to make work monochromatic, and it's so hard for me. I say I'm gonna just stick to only this few colors, or like black and white, and I just can't help it, and I have some neon mix it in, I don't know, colors I think have vibration and energy, and I just like them. So I also don't use a sketchbook. I have a sketchbook that they last me about 10 years because I do sometimes, for certain works, I do have to make kind of, do some planning, but even if I have some plans for a piece, like I might have an image that I have to plan out, but the textures, the colors, all happen at the time of making. So I have to leave room for that to just do it in the moment and trust that, That's all.
Thank you, Lina, Sunkoo. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so much fun. And both